Good afternoon, everybody. I would like to welcome you all for today's live session. Today is Saturday. I know you all want to go and spend some time out with your families. It's such a beautiful weather outside. But I can promise you this 1 hour session for today definitely is going to change your perspective about making an investment. As you all know, our today's topic is how to invest with zero bank balance. I have read it somewhere where it says 90% of the millionaires they have become millionaire because they knew how to invest in real estate. So real estate helped them to become a millionaire, and that is the fact of life. Not only that, there's a live example sitting in front of you. When I came into this country in 2003 as an immigrant, I came with two suitcases in my hands and a $10,000, which was the basic requirement by Canadian immigration for any immigrant to come here in this country to bring those settlement funds, which I fortunately or unfortunately lost in first 4 or 5 months, because when a new immigrant comes, then there's a lot of expenses and all that stuff. I bought the car and I was not doing any job. So when I came into this country, the first thing I thought in my mind that I will not go and run after a job. I wanted to understand the system of this country first. So the first system I wanted to learn was the demographics of this country. So I used to go and travel by bus. Sometime I'm going to Toronto. Sometime I'm going to the neighboring cities and, visiting the malls and all that stuff. So I wanted to understand the landscape of this country. Now, second thing, what I wanted to learn about this country is that how the financial system works over here. Because I think that was very, very important. If you are going to a country where you don't know about the culture, you don't know about the system, it becomes very challenging, very hard for you to go and become successful. But I gave my little sweet time to understand and learn the financial and I would say geographical and social atmosphere of this country. And today, I feel that was a wonderful decision which I took, because that helped me to understand how can I get successful in this country. Now, this 16 or 17-year journey has given me a lot, and I'm so thankful to this great country who has given me an opportunity to become successful, establish my family over here, and live a good life. I have built up my multi-million-dollar portfolio in this country just by understanding the financial system. Just imagine if I would have been just doing my job, or I would have been just doing my real estate business, selling and buying the houses. That is not going to make me rich. That is not going to help me to build up something which is going to work for my next generation. So I learned the power of investing in real estate. Now I'll be more than happy and delighted to share all my secret of success with you. There are so many people which I talk on day-to-day basis who come and say, you know what, no, we don't want to take any risk in our life. We don't want to go through that route, or we don't want to have any kind of debts on our head. Guys, I understand that is your personal choice, that is your personal decision. But you have to keep one thing in your mind. You cannot become a millionaire with $15 per hour work ethics. If you want to become a millionaire, you have to have that kind of mindset. You have to have that kind of thought process. And you have to have those abilities, which majority of the millionaires, they share with each other. They tell you to practice those things on day-to-day basis. But if you decide not to understand it, or not to follow, or not even to learn, of course, that is absolutely your decision, and nobody has any problem with that. But only one thing in that case, that you have to either not dream about becoming a millionaire, or you have to give up that idea. So if you want to become that millionaire, you definitely have to have that kind of work ethics, that kind of risk taking, I would say, and understanding of the financial aspects, how you can manage your investments without even having a single dollar in your bank accounts. So let's move on to the presentation, which definitely is going to give you a good idea. But my humble submission to all of you guys, it all depends upon what you want to do with your life, what you want to dream for. Of course, if you want to live a successful life, you should be willing to pay the price for that. The price could be extra working hours. The price could be your mindset. The price could be your risk-taking ability and whatnot. And sometimes I absolutely would not deny the fact that you might have to sacrifice your family life as well. Before we start the session for today, friends, I would strongly encourage you to host a Facebook watch party so that more and more people can be benefited with our discussion today. Not only that, please don't hesitate to ask as many questions as you want, because maybe any of my answer can give you a right perspective, a different thought process, which helps you to become successful in your life. Before I start the session, I would like to share my dream of life with you. I have a dream to create 1,000 millionaires by 2025 in this country, in Canada. And I want to take those 1,000 millionaires and take them to Rogers Centre or Scotiabank Arena, whatever you call that today. Put them onto the right in the middle, where majority of those Raptor players, they go and play in presence of 20,000 people. So the stadium is going to be full, and we will have 1,000 millionaire right in the center by 2025. So that is what the dream I have in my life. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to fulfill that dream. So please don't hesitate to ask as many questions as you want, friends. Of course, the best question is going to win a $50 gift card for today's best question. And this gift voucher is sponsored by our technology partner, Workify. They are doing an amazing job in the industry. They are providing a lot of service to our realtor friends. Either it is sign installation, a virtual tour if you need, and a handyman or a cleaner. So you can definitely go and download that Workify app. And I'm pretty sure you will be very impressed with their services. And today we are going to give a $50 gift card to the best question of the day. So let's start with our topic, which says invest with zero bank balance. Isn't it kind of too good to be true? Or you might feel like there is some trick behind it, or there's some catch into it. Guys, there's no catch, there's no trick. You just have to understand the concept behind it. The simple concept behind this is you have to learn the economical system of this country. You have to understand how the financial system works. Now let me ask you a question. Let's say you have a nice, beautiful car standing outside your house, but you still continue to travel by bus every day. Does that make sense to you? You have a facility which has been provided to you, and we all understand one thing: the time is the money in this country. So if you leave your car at home and go and travel by bus, which might take you 3 to 4 times more time to reach onto your job or any other destination of your choice. 90% of us will agree with me that we should travel by car if I have that facility. Whereas 10%, there might be those people who wants to stay too safe or who doesn't want to spend money on the gas or doesn't want to take the liability of insurance. But then you don't have the liberty to enjoy the beauty of the car and have fun of travel, I would say. So choice and decision we make. My job is to present the facts and figures in front of you. Now, when I came to this beautiful country in 2003, so I was talking to my dad and I said, Dad, I'm going to an unknown destination. Of course, when I came here, I had a plan to go back after 15 or 20 days. But when I came into this country, I realized that this country is the place where I can spend my life. I love the system so much. Amazing people, what a wonderful, I would say, atmosphere, no pollution. So everything was great. But before I came into this country, I sat with my dad and I said, Dad, what is your advice for me for my life to an unknown destination? So my dad gave me 3 important advice of my life. The first was, if someone spent 10 cents on you, make sure you spend 15 cents on that. So that was my dad's first advice, which till today, I try my level best to follow as much as I can. Now that was the second advice which my dad gave me. If someone asks for help, never say no. Always be ready to help as many people as you can, as long as you can afford to do that. Or even sometime, if you have to go out of your means to help somebody, don't hesitate, son. So, these 2 were wonderful advice. But then there was a third advice as well. My dad said, don't borrow money. If you borrow money sometime, you know what? You can be under a heavy debt. So I came into this country, and I was keeping in my mind that I have to follow my dad's advice. So I started roaming around here and there and try to understand. I used to talk to people how the banking system works over here, how the financial system works over here. After almost 2 months, I called back and talked to my dad and I said, Dad, I still remember all the 3 good advice you gave me. And I love all 3 of them. But unfortunately, I won't be able to follow the third one. I will try my level best to diligently follow the first and second. But third one is not even possible for me to follow. And my dad said, why? Why are you saying that, son? So I told my dad, Dad, I came into an economy which is basically a credit economy. There's no cash into this economy. Because, the country which I came from India, and it is all a cash economy over there. But when I try to understand the system of this country, I realized that this is all an economy which is based on the credit. So it is not even possible for me to live my life without borrowing any money. Isn't that true, my friend? So I said, Dad, I'm so sorry. If I have to live a good life, I should not follow your third advice. And my dad is a very amazing guy. He said, son, that was my advice, but it does not mean every single piece of my advice will fit you. I am telling you my experience of life. Now you see what fits best to you and you implement it. If you find something is not really worth for you to understand or to implement, don't worry about it. And friends, I would convey the same message to all of you, which my dad did. I am giving you an advice. Maybe you don't understand, or my advice might not fit to you, might not suit to you. Don't worry about it. So you don't need to take stress of understanding or agreeing to everything what we are talking. Now, let me ask you a question. If you understand the Canadian economy, if you understand the credit and everything, this is what I learned during my first 6 months when I didn't do any job or I was just roaming here and there or even was doing a little odd job on the weekend. I learned in this country, if you have $1 million cash, but have a bad credit or no credit, no one will lend you even a single dollar. Whereas if you have no cash in your hand and an excellent credit, anyone will come and give you the money. You know what? Banks are open. Financial institutions are ready to welcome you. If you have a great credit, it doesn't matter if you have that much money in your pocket or no, as long as your credit is good. And there's a good example which you can see on day-to-day basis. Let's say if you want to buy a property, you just need to have 5% down payment. Somebody is going to lend you 95% of the money to buy a property just on a rate of interest of 2 or 2.5%. Don't you think that is amazing? 2 or 2.5% rate of interest is a free money, friends. You have to understand. I give you an example that you have a car at your home, but you still decide to drive by bus. It is nobody's fault. Of course, it is your decision and it should be respected. Same is the case with the life. If you want to become millionaire, you have to have a millionaire attitude. But you know what? If you don't want to become a millionaire, no problem. That is your decision. Now let me put you onto a hypothetical situation. This is a gentleman, we name him A. So this gentleman comes and tell you, this B is you. So this B, just imagine it is you. So A comes to you and say, I will lend you $100,000 at 3% rate of interest. I will lend you $100,000 to you at 3% rate of interest. And he tells you something amazing. You can lend that money, you can lend that $100,000 to somebody, which is Mr. C, at 20% rate of interest. So what is happening in this scenario? So you are B and you are taking money from A at 3% rate of interest and you are giving that money to C at 20% rate of interest. I don't think so. It is very complicated math. I think you can very well understand that it is a win-win situation that somebody is giving you 100,000 and charging you 3% rate of interest, and the same money you are giving to somebody else and charging 20% rate of interest. So your net profit is 17,000. It was not your money, but you were smart. You connected both these resources. So you went to A, took money from him at 3% rate of interest. You went to C and gave him money at 20% rate of interest. You make a net profit of 17%. Is it a rocket science or is it very hard for you to understand? Not really. I think it is a very simple calculation. And even if I explain this to a 5 or 6 year old kid, even he will understand that. Now the problem is it too good to be true? And that is what the biggest challenge of the life. Majority of us, we always keep looking, what is the catch in it? There is something wrong in this. And that is what we always keep looking into it. That is what stops us from looking the opportunities of our life, guys. Yes, it sounds to be too good to be true, but believe me, if I get this opportunity, I will not even think twice. I'll do it right away. And I think that might be one of the reasons why I'm successful in my life. Now, if I go and tell this to 100 people, I guarantee you 95 people will not take this opportunity because they will say, no, there is something which Raman has some benefit out of it. He is not telling us the catch. And this thing I face on day-to-day basis with so many of our clients. When they are buying a house, they always come and tell us, Raman, can you really get me a good deal, which is cheap, $50,000? And when I get them that good deal, what is their first problem? Raman, it looks like there's something wrong with this house. And I said, come on, you were asking me to get a good deal. I am giving you a good deal. Now you have your own problems. So most of the time in our life, we always keep finding the negative side of everything. Friends, if you feel my advice is little valuable to you, or it can add some value into your life, I would strongly recommend you, whenever you have something good happening to you, please accept it with a warm heart, open hands, and don't keep thinking the negative side of it, because that is what is going to stop you from becoming successful in your life. Now, you don't need money in your pockets to invest. You can definitely invest money in real estate without having a single penny. Now, one more time, I'll take you back onto my example, which I told you. You have a car standing outside your house, but you decide to travel by bus. It is nobody's problem. It is your personal decision and your choice. Same thing happens with us, that we have those kind of opportunities available, but unfortunately, what we do, we don't avail those opportunities. Now I will explain you. Now today I am going to explain you two ways you can do it. There are multiple ways that can be done, but I think that is going to take the discussion too long, and I can spend whole day. How can you invest money without having a single penny into your bank account? Before that, friends, I would also like to thank all of you guys who have joined me. I can see there are a lot of people who are putting up the questions over there. Um, Thank you all for participating for today's session. I will try my level best to bring as much information as I can. Maybe any of my piece of information should give you the right direction of your life and gives you a different perspective. As I earlier explained, this is what I learned, and that is what my history and my story of life. 90% of the millionaires, they became millionaire through real estate. I am one of the live example in front of you. I built up my multi-million dollar portfolio here in this country just by doing the right investments and understanding the financial system of this country, where technically I never needed money in my pockets to go and invest. Where's your money lying? Most of the time it happens to us. We don't know. We have money lying somewhere. I have seen something in this country, especially those people who are here almost from last 15, 20 or 30 years. They're, they feel so happy to come and tell you, you know what, I have a mortgage-free house. I have no mortgage on my house. I absolutely understand that. So let's go and first talk about where is your money lying. Let me talk about the first aspect. This is the aspect where you own a property. Consider, I have just taken an example, just some numbers to make you understand the concept of this. I know there are a lot many questions people are asking. Akhil is asking, what about the down payment if you are saying you don't need money to invest? Akhil, I will come onto every single question. Let's first finish this presentation and then we will talk about the question answer session with that. Consider your property value is 900,000 and your mortgage balance is 500. Now you have a $400,000 equity sitting in your house. I'm pretty sure it's a very basic understanding. You know what is bank's job? Bank's job is to take your money, put it into the account, and lend that money to someone else to make money. But the person who is lending, who is taking the money from the bank, don't you think he might be investing that money somewhere else? So in other words, you remember I gave you the example A, B, and C. So now in this case, bank is acting as a B. Bank is acting as Mr. B, where he is taking money from you, maybe on 1% rate of interest or whatever it is. And he is lending that money to somebody on a higher rate of interest. And he is making that money. Don't you think that makes sense to you? Now, your $400,000 equity, which I'm showing you in this example, maybe somebody like me, he's going to the bank and taking out your 400,000 and using it somewhere else to make more money out of it. So what I'm doing is, it was your money which you put it into the bank. Maybe bank even didn't pay you any rate of interest. That is what I understood in this country, in Canada. But I am going to the bank and telling them, okay, I am willing to pay you 200 or 2% or 3% rate of interest. Let me use this money to make some investments. And guess what? I am making 20% return on that investment. So my net profit is 17%. I don't find anything in this calculation which says too good to be true. It is just a basic common sense which I am applying. And I'm using my good credits to make sure I borrow money at 2.5 to 3% and I invest that money on 20%, make 17% of my profit, give banks money back to them, and keeping my profit in my pocket. Your equity of 400,000, somebody like me who understands the financial system in this country is going and using it, guys. It doesn't matter either you use it or not, but for sure I'm going to use it. Now I hope you understand there was $400,000 that was lying in your bank account which you didn't even know. So there's a car sitting outside your house, but you are deciding to travel by bus. Is that fair to yourself? There is a money which you could have smartly used, which is there in form of an equity in your house, but you are not using it. It is nobody's fault. Now, this is one way you can make an investment without even having a single penny in your pockets. Use the equity of your house, but you have to be very thoughtful and careful. You have to have a knowledgeable person. You have to have a person who understands how the dynamics of real estate works. Because if you don't have the right person on your side to guide you, this could be very dangerous. Now, let me ask you another question. If I give you an option in this country that I will give you $50,000, you only pay interest on the amount of money which you are going to use and the number of days you use it for. So let me go back onto this one more time. I'm giving you an option. I will lend you $50,000. You only pay interest on the amount of money you use and the number of days you use it for. And you will be paying a nominal rate of interest like 2% or 3% or maybe 4%. Do you think you're going to say no to that option? Ask that question to yourself and see what is your answer. I'm sure 90% of you would say, that's a pretty good option. You are giving me $50,000 sitting in my bank account. You are not charging me any interest. So let's say if I use $1,000 out of that 50,000 for 5 days, I just have to pay an interest of 4% for 5 days on that $1,000 only. That's a pretty good option. Of course, 10% of us will think, what is it? Too good to be true. I don't need to borrow money. I told you my example. My dad gave me an advice of my life that, son, don't borrow money from anybody. I came into this country, I looked into the system, and I said, sorry, that advice is not fit for this atmosphere. I don't need to blindly follow whatever has been told to me. I have to apply my common sense. I have to apply my brain. And I have to make my decision either that advice is suitable into this atmosphere or no? And I think that is very, very important. Now, one more time, consider you are offered $50,000. You only pay interest on the amount of money used and the number of days used for. Do you know what it is called in Canada? Let me show you. I'm pretty sure this is something very amazing and you would not be able to say no to it if I give you that opportunity. Now, in this country, we call it line of credit. And fortunately, everybody has it. Everybody with a good credit have that line of credit. But unfortunately, many of us, we don't use it. So we call that facility as a line of credit, guys, where you can use the money for whatever number of days you want, and you pay the interest only on the money used and the time you use it for. And you can very well use that money to invest further. What is wrong in it? Even if you see financial institution, banks, they are okay. Now recently CMHC changed the rule a little bit where they are saying that they will not consider the money which you borrow from your line of credit as a down payment. But there are programs, GE is still okay with that, but there are programs with many of the financial institutions where they are okay with that. You can use your line of credit as a money, as a down payment to invest for any real estate purchase. Now guys, tell me something. Did I tell you something which you didn't know? I'm pretty sure majority of you know whatever I have told you. But the problem was, before this presentation, you never thought the way I am telling you. Now this is what I call it as a mindset. This is what I call it as a learning of life. That those are the same concepts. Those are the same things which you already know. But unfortunately, you don't know how to use those concepts to your benefit. Now, I think I have to change the slide because, this guy is fascinating me a lot because he keeps throwing money and I'm being fascinated to it. So, friends, these are the two ways I told you where you can take money out either from the equity of your house, which is one of the easiest way because you get the money from the bank on a very low rate of interest. Now I'll share you my experience of life. If argument's sake, let's say I have a property which I bought maybe 2 years before, and that property I bought it for 600,000. And today that property is worth maybe 700,000. I'm going to bank A and tell them, okay, I have a property which is worth 700,000. I have a mortgage balance of 400,000 onto it. I have 300,000 equity. Would you give me the mortgage? Would you lend me some money? The bank is going to be very happy, of course, their money is safe. I have 300,000 equity into it. They will be happily giving me maybe 150,000 or maybe even 200,000. So I kept that money, 200,000 in my bank account. Now I'm going to another bank maybe and telling them I have $200,000 in my bank account. Would you give me a mortgage? I'm pretty sure if I qualify on other criterias like an income, credit score and all that stuff, they will be happy to give me a mortgage because I'm giving them $200,000 to put as a down payment into another property. Now from where that 200,000 came from? That came from the bank. And another bank where I paid maybe 4% rate of interest and I'm paying 3% rate of interest on my mortgage. So my effective rate of interest might be 3.5%. Now I will share an interesting example with all of you. It's a real life situation which we have done with one of our clients, and that too very recently. So we bought a property, and even I'm putting up an address over there, 1480 Britannia Road, unit number 75. So we bought that property for $595. The closing cost was approximately 1.5%. So the total price, $603,925. We sold that property on 757. after almost little less than 3 years. So now the property value, the gain which happened, 115,225. Now let me do a calculation of ROI. Mortgage amount was 80%, so 476,000 mortgage. Annual mortgage was approximately 24,847. Average property tax was 3,400. Maintenance fees 1,320. So approximately the rent which we received was 27,000 annual rent. So there was a negative cash flow of 2,567. So almost little less than 3 years, the total negative cash flow was $7,000. Annual principal, 40% approximately, so close to $10,000 was accumulated in the equity of the house, right? So total profit, equity plus gain plus cash flow, that came on to 135,000. Initial investment was what? 20%, 120,000. ROI total for those whatever 3 years was around 112%. So if I just calculate the annual ROI into this example, it goes more than 25%, friends. It is not a rocket science which I am explaining you. I am explaining you whatever is a real life story of somebody. Now let me show you the second example where we smartly use the equity in the property. So in February, 740,000, initial mortgage amount was 476. Equity saved during ownership was 25,000. New principal remaining 451,000. So we went to bank. There was $289,000 equity sitting up in the property. We went to the same bank and we asked them to refinance the property. We went to the same bank because we wanted to save the penalty. So we took out $120,000 out of that house as an equity. So it increased the monthly payments by $450. So the total increase in annual payment was $5,400. We used this money for the down payment and closing cost of the investment property. And see what happened. This same guy bought another property in Cambridge, which he bought it for $533,000, which has been closed in April 2020. The closing cost is approximately $8,000. So the total, the cost for the property is $541,000 and change. So initial investment which was required was $106,700. On this property, the mortgage amount is $426,000. Approximately annual mortgage is $20,000. Property taxes, maintenance fees, and annual rent what we are getting on this property is $34,800. Now you remember there was an extra cost of the refinance which was approximately $5,400. Now if I calculate the rent and the cost, the mortgage of this property, property tax of this property, maintenance fees of this property, and the extra burden which the person has to carry because of that $120,000 extra borrowing. Annual payments, $5,400 from the previous calculation. Now in this calculation, there's a positive cash flow of $4,966 and positive monthly cash flow is approximately $414. Now, on an average, we calculated 40% is going into principal, which gives him $8,195. So total annual gain, equity saved plus excess cash flow is $13,160. And what was the investment from the pocket? Zero. Isn't it something which is very easy to understand? Isn't it something which can give you a different perspective, friends? But unfortunately, what happens is we don't go and look for an advice from a reliable source. We go and look for our real estate advice to somebody who is giving us a cashback of $2,000 without you understanding that a good advice in real estate can make you maybe $100,000. But you are stuck up with that $2,000 cashback and you decide to work with somebody who, trust me, doesn't even know how to establish his own real estate business. But unfortunately, you rely of your 500,000 or $1 million decision onto that person just because he's giving you $2,000 cash back. It is nobody's fault, friends. It is your own problem because you decided to do that. If you really want to understand the power of real estate, you need to work with somebody who is first of all created success for himself. Then he might have created success for his friends and family members, investors. This is the basic understanding of life. But as I said, my job is to share the facts and figures with all of you, but the choice is yours. So friends, there are so many other ways where we can make an investment with no money from our pocket. And I will try to do another session. But today, these two most important ways where we can take the money either from the equity of our house or maybe use the line of credit to make further investments in real estate and make money for ourselves. Now, I think it's been almost 40 minutes. It's the ideal time. We should move forward towards the question answer session. And I can see a lot of people have joined us today. I would like to Nardev, Ashwin Diman, Piratis, Mitesh, Akil, Keval, Umang. Thank you guys. Thank you for joining. Rehan, Chris is there. Deepak is there. Sidak is there. Rabia is there. Jay is there. There are so many questions which I'm getting on my text messages as well. Let me first go back onto the screen. And I think we have to invite Lalit as well with us today. So I will be, we will be inviting Lalit Batla, who is the Vice President of SaveMax. And friends, I would even like to give a brief introduction about Lalit to all of you. Lalit has joined SaveMax and real estate profession 5 years before, and he himself is a grand success story for all of us. Lalit, I have already sent you the link. I would request you to please join me for the conversation because I can see tons of questions over here. So Lalit himself is a very big success story. This guy joined SaveMax 5 years before, and somehow, whatever the little mentorship I could have provided them, today I feel proud when I see this guy is managing a team of almost 50 realtors, doing more than $500 million annual sales volume for real estate. And I can guarantee you, he is managing the biggest team in this country, doing the biggest sales volume in real estate in this country for any team. So Lalit, if you are here, I have already sent you the new link. Please look at that link, and I would like to have you here on the session. Now let's go to the question answer session, guys. Mr. Mrityunjay, a negative thought shouldn't come if there's a trust between them. Generally, trust plays very crucial role in relationship, and I respect SaveMax has built such trust with clients. Thank you, Mr. Malik. I really appreciate your good words. Of course, that is what is the beauty, what we have created in SaveMax. Clients come to us because of the trust factor. And I always teach my realtors, my team members, friends, somebody's coming with a lot of confidence to you. Somebody is relying on the biggest decision of their life onto you. Please ensure, deal this the way you are going to make your own transaction. You are buying or selling the house, or you're investing your own money. Because if that happens, you are never going to do anything wrong. And we ensure the high level of trust among our clients and ourselves, friends. Thank you very much, Mr. Malik, for kind words and appreciation. Sammy, thank you very much. I can see your comments and thumbs up. Thank you very much. Selma, there's a question. Hello, Raman. If we take money from our equity, it would be refinancing. With COVID-19, we are taking money from government. So how do we refinance? Selma, I understand your question, but right now your question is about a particular situation we are going through right now. And even if COVID is happening, we have recently done this case with our clients. So not everybody is taking money from government. There are people who are on their jobs and still getting the income. There could be a particular situation which I am more than happy and willing to understand and discuss your individual situation, and I will guide you accordingly. There's another question, Mr. Vibor. Hi Raman, my question. I have a full-time executive job and wants to know how can the real estate investment be a tax saving, and how can I use my RRSP, not the first-time homebuyer plan, and my investment in TFAs, money better in real estate, and still save taxes? That's a very high-level question, Mr. Vibor. And there are ways where you can actually work on the reverse mortgage and reverse equity of the house as well. Whatever the money you have invested in RRSP or TFSAs, there are ways you can take that money into consideration for the down payment or even giving the mortgage to yourself, right? It is little technical aspect of it. And to be very frank, I'm not an accountant. That is not my professional background. But if you want, I can definitely arrange a meeting with you where I can have those experts as well, so that you are getting the right information. And I would request you to send me either a personal message or email so that I can answer your question in detail, because that is going to be a little longer discussion. Mr. Khaled, hi Raman, excellent presentation. Do you support arrangement to manage the refinance discussion with the banks? Absolutely, Khaled. That is, we take care of all that part, and we have very strong relationship with majority of the big banks. And your personal situation, I'm more than happy to sit and discuss with you, and I can definitely guide you in the right direction. And we do take care of the refinance as well, because it gives us more business. Come on, yaar. Deepak, I always heard very positive comments about SaveMax. Proud of you, Ramandua. Thank you, Deepak. Thank you very much. You know what? I always say we are just doing our job, and we are trying our level best to do it as good as we can. But of course, I don't say we are perfect. There could be few chances, few circumstances and situation where we might not be able to fulfill your expectations as a client. But I always promise you one thing. Either it is my client or it is my team. I don't promise you that when we are doing business together, problems will not come. Problems might come, 100%. But I promise you one thing. If there's a problem, you will always find us standing beside you, not running away from you. And on top of it, I proudly say, you bring me a problem and I will give you a solution in 30 seconds. So thank you very much, Deepak, for your appreciation and comments. Mr. Niran, imparting confidence ingress into any client with transparent discussion to achieve realistic real estate deals is the norm, SaveMax believe. Thank you, Niran, and I think you have explained it very nicely. Yes, that is what our belief system, and if you have seen our our core values, we have 6 core values, and our first core value is client first. And that is how I have practiced as a realtor, and that is what I teach or I mentor my team members. It is 12:45, guys. We are going to finish this session very soon, but there are so many questions which I can see on the screen. There's another Vibor Gupta. Thank you, Raman, for taking my question. Yes, definitely. I would like to discuss further. Vibor, don't hesitate to send me an email or a personal message, and we will definitely um, give you the right guidance and understanding of the subject. Now, I have one more question, and this question is from Kelly. So, Kelly says, Raman, you are advising us to take money from the equity of our house. It sounds little risky to me. I want to become a millionaire, but I don't want to take any such risk. Kelly, I really appreciate your question and honesty. First of all, let me congratulate you. At least you have one zeal that you want to become millionaire. But as I said earlier, Kelly, if you want to become a millionaire, you have to have an attitude. You have to have a thought process like a millionaire. It is the same thing that there is a car standing outside your house, but you decide to go by bus. And I think Lalit has joined us as well, friends. So Lalit, can you hear me?
Yeah, hi, Raman. Good afternoon. How are you?
Pretty fantastic. Lalit, I would like to welcome you, first of all, on today's live session.
Thank you,
And
Raman.
before I go further, let me just give a brief introduction, which I already gave, but you were not there at that time. So I would take the liberty to give a brief introduction for 30 seconds. Friends, Lalit Badla, he is the vice president of the company, and I proudly say Lalit joined SaveMax. Lalit, it's almost like what, 4, 5 years, I would say?
Yeah, 5 years you can absolutely.
5 years
Though
or less?
first year I was like half India, half Canada, but
I mean, first year he was a true Indo-Canadian, so 6 months India and 6 months Canada.
yeah.
My friends, as I explained to you, I proudly say Lalit is the vice president of SaveMax Group of Companies, one of the most hardworking, thoughtful guy. And you know what? So many times I felt like he's my mentor. I learned so many things from him. You know, the kind of dedication, the kind of thought process he has, and the way he functioned with clients. Uh, Lalit, I'm pretty sure you might have dealt with almost in these 5 years more than 1,000 clients, if I'm not wrong,
Absolutely, Raman.
right?
Absolutely.
I
Yeah.
have never got a single phone call from any of the client where I got any complaint about Lalit. Every time
Thank
Lalit
you.
makes a deal, Lalit makes sure that client comes and meet me and say hi to me. And I don't know, Lalit, either you bribe them or you give them something, but what about you?
No, it's probably just the learnings, probably which I just took from you, Raman, and I just, I'm just applying that in the field, and I'm just trying to follow your first step. To be very honest.
Lalit, I really appreciate, and I think that is what the beauty we have created in SaveMax, that our core values, every single individual working in SaveMax works on those core values. And that is what our belief system is, guys. So, Lalit, there are many questions which I am getting here, and there are hundreds of people they are watching us live on Facebook and through other media. But today, I want you to talk a little bit about something new which we are doing in SaveMax. People are talking to me about that game changer model. What is it? Lalit, give me 1 second. I think you have joined from two spots.
Okay,
Yeah.
is it better now?
Fantastic.
Thank you. Apologize for that because earlier I was on a long call with a client. And thank you, Raman, first of all, giving this opportunity to join you. Because to be very honest, just in a quick, I know it's already 12:54. We are running short of time, but just a brief introduction. I was with big corporate companies in India like Scores Group and Tata Groups, maybe more than 13 years. But believe me, Raman, it's not like because we are on camera and we are sitting, next to each other, I'm talking something great about you. This is from my heart. This 5 years in our group, SaveMax, has given me much bigger exposure, much better experience than working with even the biggie lights, Tatas. And I always admire you like a big brother, big mentor, and whatever. And you said probably you are taking any steps or any learning from me, but I totally deny that because all the learnings which we have taken from you in just last this 5 years, I've tried to, just apply that. And yes, as you said, now I'm handling a team of more than 45 agents. It's all your advice, your way of teaching how, and especially the last session in which you were, talking about rather to invest in stocks or in real estate. Believe me, many of my investors, they call me later on. They said, you guys are having such a big thought process running, and they were saying my money is just lying, giving me just maybe peanuts of returns, or now in this COVID situation, even they had negative returns on their portfolios. Rather, it was in RRSPs or TFSA, both ways. But that session has really, given them an eye opening. And we already had, after that session, close to 7 sittings with a few of the investors. And they have already, on the verge of putting offers and getting into the real estate, just to the kind of the returns which we can provide.
Right.
And believe me, the true example probably sitting next to you, which is me, with your advice, in just 5 years. Like I was doing earlier forex and stocks by myself as well, and there is no shame to sharing that. I have lost a big amount of money in forex. But yes, it was good experience. Like you were getting close to 30 to 40% return in a week or something like that. But then suddenly you are negative 40 as well. But
Yeah.
but I was following closely, Raman, you since very day I met you when I came to this country. That was probably 10 years ago. And since then, my whole, it was my admire and my, that I must join you. And believe me, the day I took license, I never went to any brokerage. I just came straight forward to you because I met you once in an open house, and I somehow felt, probably you can be the best mentor and the best possible person who is actually created his own brand in this market, and not like, we are going like, any of, now we are actually running close to 25 franchises, and, we are even reached up to the national level and getting into the states like even provinces like Alberta, right? So I'm very much honored to be part of this group, and thank you for giving me this opportunity, Raman, just to heading as a vice president level in such a short span of time. But all my regards, my credit goes to all my team and all my admin team of SaveMax, who are actually, or my whole team of SaveMax of realtors. They have shown the trust in me, and we are here. Now,
So
coming
let's
back,
get it.
yeah,
Biggest question people wants to understand. I got two people here who send me this question.
yeah,
Are you a millionaire?
yes, I am. Yes,
So
so
that is the key, right? People just want
absolutely,
to understand it.
absolutely, absolutely.
I
And
really appreciate that.
thank you, sir. Thank you so much. And Raman, to be very honest, wherever you have advised me, I the first listing, Raman told me, Lalit, you want to study your career, sold your first house. And at that time, I used to live, guys, in a condo. I'm talking about 5 years ago before meeting, like joining Raman, not meeting, because I met him 10 years ago, as I just told. But that condo has resulted, whatever down payment which I make over there, Raman told me to switch on a better house. And with his advice, today that house itself is touching close to $1 million value. And more than that, I have already flipped 3 properties and invested in another 4 condos as well. And
Excellent.
it all regard goes to you, Raman. Thank you very
Now,
much.
see, it is, I always say, like, my job is to give the information. It is your job to process it and use it. That is what we did today. So, friends, I think we are very close to 1 o'clock and we have to wrap up this session. Before we wrap up, I just want to give you a glimpse of our new game changer model in which we have created passive income for our realtor friends. Not only that, we have gone to a next extent as well. So, that is what I always try to identify, that what is the real life problem, right? So, when I started SaveMax at that time, I find the real life problem with clients was like, they were paying too much commission. So I came up with a solution of that list your house for $9.99. So today I realize that during this COVID especially, I realized that there are too many realtors who actually lost their income, right? Because there's no business out there. So I thought, you know what, that is a genuine problem in the real estate industry. So I have to come up with the solution. So we have come up with a very creative solution that where sometime if the situation like COVID happens, you are getting some passive income in your pocket, and so that at least you can run your family. Not only that, we went to a second extent to it. So the second pillar of our game changer model is even if you retire from SaveMax, you will still keep getting the income in your pocket. So you don't need to worry even after your retirement about your lifestyle. And not only that, we have gone to the third extent where it's an unfortunate part of life. We all have to go. We all have to, say goodbye to our loved ones one day uh, for a journey where nobody's going to come back. So we have created a facility, a structure in our model where even after somebody dies, your family will keep getting the passive income for next 5 years. So if you understand this, I'm pretty sure you will understand what our intentions are. We want to create a system for people where they don't even need to think about how their day-to-day life is going to be run. And this is what the beauty we always created in SaveMax. Friends, there are a lot many other questions. I can see such a love and affection from so many people. I seen message from Ravi. Thank you, Raman and Lalit, for sharing your real life experience. Yes, friend, Ravi, this is our real life experience. Parthiv says, very informative session, love it. Vibor says, thank you, Raman, for taking my question. No problem, Vibor, you are more than welcome anytime. And Lalit, I have like almost 17 question on my. There's a question from Dan. He's one of our past client.
Mhm.
Dan, I got your question. Trust me, I will answer you. But today we are running short of time. It's already 101, and I want to make sure that we stay within the limitation of our time. So, friends, thank you very much for joining us today. Thank you, Lalit, for sharing your real life experience with all our viewers.
My pleasure,
And,
Raman. And just if you give me only 1 second to share
sure.
here, the passive model which we are running as of now, I already like last week we have hired 5 agents under that model already, and today I have close to 3 interviews lined up just after this session. And yes, any realtor friend which they are looking to get more information about this model, uh, please feel free. It's definitely a game changer model, and you can reach me at my direct line, which is 416-999-6412, or the direct line of Raman. Thank you, Raman.
Thank you, Lalit. Friends, thank you very much for joining for today's session. If you have not liked my Facebook page, Rise with Raman, I like putting early morning videos over there, just some motivational stuff. So many people who are connected with me. So just go and like that page. And also, I would request you to subscribe my YouTube channel again with the same name, Rise with Raman, and press the bell icon over there because we'll be putting up all our videos and our own suggestions and all these knowledgeable seminars and everything. And one more thing, please don't forget to comment. Either you liked it or you didn't like it, no problem. Whatever is your genuine feeling, I want to hear from you so that we can make it better. It can help others if we make it much better and more elaborative. So I am open to any feedback, friends. Don't hesitate to share, comment, or like. It might help somebody else to understand what we are discussing. Thank you very much. Enjoy your weekend. Happy Saturday. Tomorrow is Sunday. Enjoy a lot of time with your family. Government has opened up a lot, but that doesn't mean we should start doing parties outside. This is not the right time. Let's stay safe, stay in quarantine a little bit, and keep maintaining the physical distancing. See you soon next week, same time, 12 o'clock on this session live on Facebook. Thank you very much, friends.
Thank
Have
you,
a good
Raman.
weekend.
Thank